Thank you and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our Great Lakes and St. Lawrence Cities Initiative webinar on cities as key partners in the water innovation pipeline. I'm Tom Marakis, Mayor of the town of Aurora and delegate to the Cities Initiative for York Region in Ontario. And it's my pleasure to provide brief introductory remarks to kickstart this webinar. First off, for those needing simultaneous interpretation in French, please find information in the chat and slides. Cities Initiative staff are on hand to assist you if you need it. Now, before heading into today's topic, I also want to take a quick moment to remind you that registration is now open for the Cities Initiative's upcoming annual conference in Montreal, Quebec. This year's conference will take place May 15th to 17th around the theme of economic transformation. Together, we will look at how cities can sustainably leverage economic benefits from local freshwater resources, enhance waterfronts and public access to our lakes and rivers, and how to attract green industries to create a desirable region for all to live, work, invest, and play. This year's event is presented in partnership with the St. Lawrence Seaway Management Corporation. And the Cities Initiative is offering a super saver rate of 25% off the regular registration fee. And this discount is available until next Wednesday, January 31st. We all look forward to seeing you in Montreal in May. Now for today's webinar. The Cities Initiative is proud to partner with AquaAction for this great session on cities as key partners in the water innovation pipeline. As cities continue to grow, their influence on water resources and management strategies becomes more significant. Innovation is key to unlocking solutions to existing and emerging challenges, as well as helping ensure that local governments can continue delivering clean, safe, and affordable water to our communities. Our friends at AquaAction will be presenting 7 emerging companies that are part of AquaAction's AquaEntrepreneurs program. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce Sula Chronopoulos, President of AquaAction, who will give us an overview of the organization's programming and moderate today's session with our participating speakers. So enjoy today's discussion, everyone, and over to you, Sula.
Thank you, Mayor Marakis, and it's really lovely to be here with everybody. Yes, I'm Sula Chronopoulos, President of AquaAction, and it's nice to see most of you. I think we met last year at the AGM. So today, as you just heard, we're going to explore untapped potential of innovation at the urban city level, and we're going to highlight its capacity to usher in a new and sustainable future for our planet. So let me just change slides. So as our cities expand, as you heard, they really have an impact on our water resources, and the intricacies of water management becomes increasingly crucial. One of the things that we're seeing is that, especially with new innovators, the uptake is really huge at the urban level. And so in this session, we're going to delve into the latest advancements emerging from the AquaAction water tech ecosystem in North America in the realm of water conservation, purification, recycling technologies, highlighting their crucial and critical role at the urban level. These technologies are not futuristic. What you're going to see today is actual technologies that are being implemented not only in Canada, but across the US. So with this, I'm just going to take the next slide very quickly. We are a charitable organization and we function across North America. So we are nonprofit, but we're not your typical nonprofit. We launched clean tech companies because we believe having an environmental impact is important to do something as launching these clean tech companies at the urban level. And we believe in innovation and action. Through 3 tech-focused programs, we're moving from crisis to solutions. And so what you're going to see is that when they implement their technologies at the city level, then federal level starts hearing them, state level starts hearing them. And so this is how we're making impact. So let's dive right into these solutions. Innovation holds an immense power to revolutionize our approach to climate change, mitigation, adaptation, as well as managing our water. By fostering breakthrough technologies and practices and policies in the water tech sector, we can address the root causes of climate change while building resilience. This is a whole new blue economy, a regenerative economy that we are building with a generation that is now engaged for the future. So right now, you will meet a few of our entrepreneurs. And altogether, there's 7 of them. And the first one up right now is Can Forecast. So I'm going to turn it over to my friend Nicolas to just dive right in. Nicolas, over to you, my friend.
Thank you so much, Sula, for the introduction. Yes, so I'm Nicolas Fortin-Saint-Gelais, co-founder and scientific director of Can4Cast. At Can4Cast, what we do is we develop smart decision tools for the water sector. And so here we have two pictures that look pretty similar. So we have one major flood that was in Longueuil, so from an extreme rain event. And we know that with climate change, we're going to get more and more of those floods. So a challenge that cities is going to face. On the other picture, you also see urban flooding, but with a different cause, which is because of a water main break. So this is caused at the end because of aging infrastructure. So very different, very similar impact, but two different problems. And what we think at Can4Cast is that we really need to consider the combined effect of both climate change and aging infrastructure. So as an example, we know that in North America today, there's around 150 water main breaks happening every day, but we need to know what's the impact of climate change on that. Same thing for sewer backups. We know that today, around 50% of insurance claim for flood is for sewer backup, but we need to know what would be the impact of climate change on that. And this is what we want to do at Can4Cast. You can go to the next slide. So what we do, our approach at Can4Cast is that we co-develop solution with the public government. So we work closely to be able to develop solutions that are tailored to the need to really answer what are the challenges. And the testament to that is the scientific publication that we do with our clients to be able to share the work that we do. And we're really proud to say that so far we've worked with more than 35 municipalities in Eastern Canada and in France, impacting a total population of 8 million. So this is a bit what we do, but now let's go to the next slide to show a bit what are the tools that we develop. So our main tool is IntelliPipes. So IntelliPipes is an AI-based decision tool for water management. And there's three main modules in IntelliPipe. The first one is a drinking water vulnerability model that we developed with the City of Montreal. And this tool enables to identify pipes that we need to replace between the distribution network to minimize breaks in the future based on the likelihood of a failure, but also the consequence of a failure. Because of course, if a pipe is connected to an hospital, it's not the same consequence of a failure. The second module that we have with IntelliPipes is a water consumption forecasting model to forecast water consumption on the short, medium, and long term, and also take into account the impact of climate change into water consumption and also of population growth. And we also do with this water consumption model, do real-time leak detection in the water distribution system. The third module of IntelliPipe, which we developed with the region of Peel in Ontario, is a wastewater flow forecasting. And this model enables to forecast the wastewater flow to evaluate, is there a combined sewer overflow risk over the next 24 hours or a sewer backup risk to enable proactive management of the water system to minimize the risk to both the environment and the citizens. Next slide. And so now we can really see, after working with cities over the past 5 years, that we can really see the impact of the solution that we implemented. So for example, for the IntelliPipe for the drinking water, what we observe is that our tools is up to 12 times more accurate at identifying which pipe we need to replace to minimize breaks. Of course, it translates in saving in water, energy, money. And for the IntelliPipes for urban flooding, what we observe is that our model can predict wastewater flow in less than a minute. So it enables proactive management and is even more accurate with important rain events, which are the big problems, and for very minimal development cost compared to traditional iterate model. So next slide. So this is a very quick overview of what we do at Can4Cast. And if you have you want to discuss any project or challenge that you have, it will be a pleasure. Please contact me. And if you have questions, I think also we have some time for questions. Thank you so much.
We do. We absolutely do. Thank you, Nicolas. So we'll turn it over to the audience. We know this is going to be a quick 3 to 4 minute presentation, but if you have any questions, please feel free to share them. No questions? All right.
Thank you.
I think we can, thank you very much. We can move on to the next one. So our next company is Extelia, and they're revolutionizing the use of Internet of Things. So I'll turn it over to my friend Eric Bourbeau to talk a little bit about his amazing technologies.
Hi, I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. Next slide. So at Extelia, essentially what we do is we focus on reduction of the consumption of water at the end user level. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, so Canada, the US, we know we're among the largest consumers of water per capita per day in the world. In Canada, we're looking at about 109 gallons on average per day per person, or 411 liters. Only about 7% of that is for drinking or cooking. So everything else is where we can actually make a difference. Next slide, please. Okay, so working with cities, we've got about 25 cities that are customers of our system, and working with them, we realized really early that they don't have the tools to monitor precisely what's happening in the household, in the restaurant, in the factory. Next slide. So that's why we developed EXO, which is a smart platform, which also includes a citizen portal, and it helps cities monitor exactly what's happening hour by hour. They get detailed visibility on water usage. Next slide, please. So what's unique about our solution is we're really focusing on continuous monitoring. This brings us a rich data set that we can then use intelligent algorithms with to detect leaks, leaking toilets, leaking pools, things like that, abnormal usage. If the city has put in some regulations during the summer to control watering of lawns and things like that, this gives them the tools to enforce those regulations. They know exactly what's happening every hour of every day for every consumer of municipal water. Next slide, please. So how do we do this? Pretty simple. Cities will provide them with a radio module that attaches to the water meter, and every hour for over 20 years, this little module, battery-powered module, will query the water meter and say, hey, what's the reading right now? Sends that up to the cloud into EXO, and that's where we get all this rich data, which is all hosted on Amazon and is available historically. It's all archived, and it provides essentially the data that's required to be able to get all those insights. Next slide. So what's the impact of our solution? Well, before the adoption of our solution, most of our municipal customers were doing infrequent readings, maybe once a year for billing mostly. Labor intensive most of the time, either driving around the city or walking around, lots of labor. Very little visibility on trends, on leaks, on impacts of regulations, even education campaigns, no clue if they were effective. And citizens were just not engaged because they had no visibility on any of this. With our system, they go from a reactive model to a proactive model of management of water distribution, continuous meter reading, no labor required, the data just flows in, full visibility on trends, on leaks, impacts of those education campaigns or those regulations that the cities put into place. Citizen portal, it's great. It provides engagement, builds awareness, so they can try things at home. You know, let's try to run the dishwasher every second day instead of every day. And then the parents and the kids can look at the graph and say, hey, you know what? We managed to drop our water consumption just by changing a few habits, shorter showers, things like that. Next slide. In a nutshell, that's what we do. We do it with, like I said, about 20, 25 customers here, mostly in Canada. But we'd be really excited to work with any of you today to discuss a project, a pilot project, or how we can help you with your water reduction goals.
Eric, I have a question for you before we open the audience. Can you speak a little bit to how complicated it is to work with such a technology at the city level? So a little bit about how you work with the cities.
Well, we provide the expertise, because essentially one of the challenges here is to go and fetch the data. So we use what's called Internet of Things technologies. We're really good at it. We've been doing this for 7 years. So we have the expertise to help the city provide coaching, provide best practices on how to deploy this stuff. We've helped cities, write RFPs to make sure that they understand what they're trying to get. We do a lot of proofs of concepts, trials, etc. And really, we're taking all the complexity out of collecting this data because everything's already built. It just flows right into the cloud. It's there at your fingertips on your phone or on your computer. So basically, that's what we do.
Thank you. Eric. Are there any questions from the audience for Eric? Phil, I hope you can help me well with this one. I can't see.
Yeah, actually, we do have a question in the chat from Christina Cholkin. So how do you convince municipal water utilities to adopt the technology, given that main revenues are tied to water use?
That's a really good question. What we're seeing, and maybe it depends, on particular city situation, but what we're seeing is a lot of cities are challenged with the water. They want to continue growing and their water supply is limited. If they need to expand their water treatment facilities to be able to grow, bring in more construction, that's huge investments. So there's a trade-off. So what we're seeing is in many cities, there is an objective of reducing the consumption because there's other problems such as it limits the ability to expand the city or to grow, or there might be problems with the aquifer, or there might be problems. I mean, there's some areas of the US that, like Arizona and such, that are relying on water sources that are running out. So we're not seeing much of this pushback from municipal utilities, but maybe we're talking to people that really need to reduce their consumption.
Thank you so much, Eric. Any more questions? We'll certainly have time, hopefully, at the end. So I'm going to move on to our next showcase, which is EcoFix, and my good friend Marisol Labrec. Marisol, over to you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Marisol Labrec, the CEO of Technology EcoFix. At EcoFix, we have developed solutions to increase the treatment capacity of your existing wastewater treatment plant. Next, please. I like to say we give a second life to your installation. We are committed to develop cost-effective, eco-friendly, and efficient solutions for municipalities across North America. Next, please. Our team has developed two modular solutions, the EcoFix and the BioFix system. The first one to remove the organic load, and the second one to remove ammonia even in cold water. Both contaminants are regulated by discharge limit that cities must comply with. Our solution can be installed directly in existing installation without any new additional infrastructure. Next, please. Our units are submerged directly in an existing lagoon. It includes a media, which is a plastic support to develop a rich biomass. More bacteria in contact with wastewater mean fast and more efficient treatment. Next, please. Installing a modular solution without building a new infrastructure offers many advantages. An equipment that are 20 to 60% or more less expensive than the equivalent solution, at least 60% less expensive to operate and maintenance, and our solution offers a high level of flexibility. Add only the module you need when you need them. Our solution have also significant environmental impact. No chemical are needed, and they save energy costs. Next, please. Logistically, the module can be installed quickly and easily. Both solutions are very easy to operate and maintenance. Municipal staff will remain autonomous after EcoFix training on our solution. Finally, our two solutions can be adapted to a wide range of biological reactors. Next, please. Both solutions are obviously very efficient. The EcoFix can remove 95% of the organic load applied to it. And next, please, the BioFix can remove 98% of ammonia, even in cold water, which is normally very difficult to achieve. Next, please. Here, a quick example for the municipality of Ascot Corner, Quebec, near the US border. The municipality needed to increase the treatment capacity by 70% to support its growth. Next, please. To do so, we installed 3 EcoFix units in their aerated lagoon, a solution that was 37% less expensive than a comparable solution and 60% cheaper in operation and maintenance. The system has been in operation for 3 years now, and we continue to enable the municipality to meet discharge limit effectively. Next, please. Our team is always happy to look specifically to your project, so do not hesitate to contact us. Thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to answer any question you may have.
Thank you very much, Marisol. So yes, we'll turn it over to any questions from our audience. Do we have any questions coming through, Phil?
None on the chat.
Okay, again, I'm going to ask you the same question, Marisol. How easy is it for you to work with cities? How complex is your solution?
Well, we are with the municipality at every step of a project. So we start really at the beginning when you start a new design or you start just thinking about increasing your treatment capacity, and we'll follow you at every step of your project. Usually it's really easy to do. So we'll make sure to get the permit you need, and we'll be there during the installation to make sure that it will be easy for you.
Thank you, Marisol. How many municipalities or cities are you in?
We have a project in Quebec already working, and also in Ontario, and we have 2 projects going to be installed this year in US, one in South Carolina and one in Iowa.
Thank you very much, Marisol. And with that, we'll go off to our next presenter, who is Leandre. And Leandre has a wonderful company, a very family generational company, Technoprotection. Take it away, Leandre.
Yeah, thank you so much. So first of all, thanks for having me, everyone. I am Leander from Technoprotection, and I am here today to talk about corrosion. So on our water main, corrosion is the principal cause of many problems, such as, well, there's breakages, leaks, but also if it's not taken care of, it is deteriorating your water pipes to a point that they are not able to maintain the water anymore, and you will need to change them. As we all know, that involves large investments, and that's usually what we want to avoid. Corrosion also you can come back, please. Corrosion is also one of the main source of wasting water. When there's leaks or breakages, the quality of your water is affected, but there's also a huge amount of it that is wasted on a daily basis, since we are not able to find this leak and to fix it as soon as it occurs. Next page, please. So that's why I'm presenting you our innovative solution, which is a system that allows you to protect your water mains against corrosion without any excavation. Next page, please. So the system we use is known to be the most efficient and used systems in many different markets, since it is able to protect large area for a very long time. And how it works is that we induce current underground. I think there's an animation if you can click. We induce current underground. You can click again, sorry. And it goes directly to your water pipes or your metallic accessories, and that completely stops the corrosion process. Next slide. So as I told you, it is mostly used in most of the markets, since it's able to protect large area for a very long time. And we've developed those systems inside of helical piles, which allows us to install them, to install our products mostly anywhere at any the desired depth very easily and rapidly. And as you can also imagine, it is a very low-cost solution, since it doesn't require any excavation. Next page, please. This is an example at Coteau-du-Lac, which is a city close to Montreal. I think there's also an animation that's coming through when you click. So this is systems that we've installed. This is 5 systems that are able to protect over 2 kilometers of water mains for over 25 years. And all of this project was only an investment of $100,000. These projects are also eligible for grants. So that makes it even more affordable. And for this specific project, the net cost of all of this installation was at the end $0, since it was all covered by these subventions. You can go to the next one. So we've installed many systems in different cities. I think we have around 20 to 25 clients right now, mostly in Quebec, but we are able to expand ourselves, since we are working with Techno Metal Post. And our system not only makes your waterworks last longer, but it also reduces the breakages and water loss, which result in substantial savings both money-wise, but also ecologically. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. If you have any question, please, you can call me anytime, and you can send me an email. I'll be happy to help you with any project or any corrosion situation.
Thank you, Leon. This is wonderful. So specifically, we're talking about the effect on lead pipes as well.
Yep, on lead pipes, on well, iron pipes. There are also the new plastic pipes, the IPEX PVC pipes. Those accessories on these specific pipes are corroding way faster than they usually does on the iron ductile pipes. So that's a big problem that we are facing right now, and that's why it's also even more important to use catalytic protection to protect your assets against corrosion and to make them last way longer.
Thank you very much, Leon.
Thank
Are
you.
there any questions from our audience?
Sula, I have a question in the chat about the grants and whether they're available in Ontario also or just in Quebec.
Well, I didn't check for the grants in Ontario, but I know that some of those that I'm using right now are for all Quebec or for all Canada. So I think I'm not sure about the percentage or anything, but it'll be available. It's sure that there's any available in Ontario.
Yeah, there are quite a few federal grants actually available across
Yeah.
Canada, so that would include Ontario.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got a thumbs up for it, so thanks for the response.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, Leon. And with that, I'm going to move over to SmartTrack, who has a very, very interesting solution and who's actually now partnered with Veolia. So with that, I will turn it over to Kevin. Kevin, over to you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin Pichette, Director of Sales for SmartTrack. So quickly, I'll do an overview of our technology. So SmartTrack, what we've done is we've developed a radio mesh protocol. Okay, so that might not speak to everyone, but essentially we're in the Internet of Things business. So we effectively connect devices. For the water and wastewater sector, what we've done is we've deployed specific solutions around this technology, and we effectively deploy networks of sensors to gain real-time insights on operations and equipment in the field for operators, for engineering departments at the utility level. Okay, so essentially, what we are able to do is deploy completely private autonomous network. And even in challenging environment, right? So water, wastewater is underneath the ground, so that becomes a challenge. And we directly address the connectivity challenge in the data acquisition sector. So we will develop specific solutions for utilities. We've been working in different industries, but we've been in the water wastewater sector for about developing those specific solutions for about 3 years. And today, even though we're newer in that sector, we have about 100,000 sensors deployed throughout North America, representing about 1,300 networks. Okay, next slide, please. So essentially, how this works, and I oversimplified it here, but you see a manhole where you typically have overflow, you're mandated to monitor this. So you will have a sensor underneath the ground, and it will connect that sensor to a SmartTrack node, which will itself be connected to a repeater installed above ground. And that repeater is kind of the key. So because all of our devices have the ability to communicate with each other, you don't rely on that third-party provider for connectivity. And so you have control over the quality of service that you will get. And that's how we're able to ensure that your data acquisition process will be very effective and not fall short when it comes to bringing back the data in real time. The central point of our networks, you can leave it there. The central point of our network is the gateway. And from that gateway, we send all of the data, we centralize the data there, and we are very flexible as to how we use that data. So we can use a cloud-based app for the user to visualize the data, but we can also interface with SCADA system, work locally with infrastructures already in place to help mitigate recurring costs. Next slide, please. On a broader level, we create a network throughout the city, and you can see that each devices in the network can communicate with each other, and that creates many different paths for the data to go through, increasing the redundancy and the resiliency of our networks. Okay, next slide, please. So in this case, we believe we can help a lot with stormwater management, overflow monitoring. So we typically interface with different sensors like flow meter, level sensors. We can work with radars as well to qualify your sewers and monitor flow in the sewers. And so we have many different specific solutions, as well as rain gauges to monitor rainfalls, rain events, to understand how your network will react in those events. Next slide, please. You can visualize everything to the web app. Web app is made for visualizing the data. There's an alarm system that you can set up to be alerted in times of parameters that are not respected, for instance, overflows, and as well as creating reports with the historical data. Okay, next slide, please. We also do many different solutions for water networks, wastewater networks, as well as in the plant. As long as you have sensors to connect, we're here to help. We can develop those specific solutions. These are the ones that we typically see, but we're sensor agnostic and interface with any sensors, and so we can develop any specific solutions for you. Okay, next slide. That's it.
Thank you very much, Kevin. And I guess the question is, you said that you're across the US. Approximately how many cities are you in, and how easy is it to install your solution in these cities?
Yeah, so we're in about, I'd say 30 cities in the water wastewater sector. And we really do see that hurdle in connectivity everywhere. I'd say it reaches across the borders. That's maybe a universal problem. We have the ability to deploy those custom network, and we take on that design for the utilities, that we don't leave it to them. And so that kind of help they get makes it very easy to get in, and we do lots of demos, and then it leads us to bigger projects as well.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Do we have any questions from our audience?
It's quiet on the chat, Sula. Oh, actually, just got one. Would the municipality purchase the monitoring system, or it's a contract that is monitoring by your company?
So we are open to both. We do both, actually. So if the utility wants to buy the equipment, they then own their private network. They don't have those recurring connectivity costs. If they are looking for a service package, we can do both. We can include connectivity as well. So they might only pay a recurring cost, but never really the big expenditure at the beginning. So we're certainly open to both, and we do both with utilities.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kevin. Thank you for the questions so far. All right. With that, we're going to move over to an incredible company. This is actually a social impact company, and it's Water Rangers, and I'm proud to say they were the first winners of our Aqua Hacking Challenge back in 2015, and they currently are known globally around the US and Canada, and they work federally. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to my friend Laura Gilbert. Take it away, Laura.
Actually, it'll be me, Nicholas, today. Laura,
I'm sorry, Nicholas.
I'm sorry. But you've worked with Laura
sorry,
for many years, Sula, so I understand that you'd be thinking she would be presenting today. My name is Nicholas McLean. Bonjour tout le monde. I'm the social enterprise manager as well as our sustainability manager at Water Rangers. And I'll basically talk about what we are here to do. But unlike many of my colleagues who presented so far today, we really are an environmental nonprofit and a social enterprise. And if we go to the next slide. Thank you. So the problem as we see it is that there's a real data deficiency in water quality monitoring for environmental water quality. And so we were set up to provide the tools to help enable community-based water monitoring. So we create customizable test kits to put in the hands of community partners to monitor water. And we also host an open data platform where that data can live. The data is integratable to our partners' websites, as well as we're connected to other networks of water quality data for access to academics, et cetera. The data platform is totally free and it's open data. And then we also do training and support design work around community-based water monitoring programs and work at different levels. Go to the next slide, please. So we do work with municipalities. We have also worked with state level agencies, as well as we work with a lot of community conservation authorities across the country and with partners in the US at different levels. So here you see examples of one of our branded community-based water monitoring test kits that we came up with Val-des-Monts. So this was one we were involved with through the design and implementation of the program, as well as we provided in-person and virtual training support for them. And it's an ongoing one. I'll have more information about that one at the end. And on the left-hand side of the screen, you can also see sort of a snapshot of what the data platform looks like. But it's a Google Maps style interface. It's very easy to use. Our kits and the data platform are designed with ease of use in mind. And one of the things I really want to highlight is that the ISD report from 2021 highlights that for investments in community-based water monitoring, it's a 3-to-1 cost savings when you compare it to traditional water monitoring. Our parameters that we include in our base kit cover such things as water conductivity, temperature, pH, hardness, and then there's the possibility of integrating lab-based protocols such as E. coli, looking at dissolved organic carbon, as well as phosphate levels in water. But it's very customizable. So you'll see in the kit here, we have tools to measure water clarity as well. And we just this last year launched a road salt monitoring test kit, which they're all designed to plate together nicely. So the road salt monitoring test kit's designed to fit into the other backpack, or it can be a standalone product depending on your community's needs. But we're really designing our products and our data platform to meet that community need. And I just want to highlight as well that everything's available bilingually. Thank you. So we can go to the next slide. So the case example I wanted to talk about was in Val-des-Monts, is a community of 13,000 people near Ottawa in Canada, and they cover a very large geographic range. So the challenge they were facing was how to do environmental water quality monitoring when they are such a small municipality. So they partnered with us starting 2 years ago. And this last year, they started going live with their monitoring of 47 lakes and water bodies in the region. And their goal is to grow the program to monitor all 150 water bodies in their catchment area by 2025. In our first year, we trained 75 participants, but they particularly partnered primarily with existing lake associations, cottage associations, to put the kits in the hands of people to be able to monitor it. And then the things they're looking for are such things as like eutrophication, for example, but also if there's anything that's flagged through the program to come up with solutions to improve the water quality by partnering with those community groups, not necessarily from a municipal level, but there are also plans in the work in the future for there to be municipal level responses to what's found through this project. And like I said, that's my sort of presentation, a snapshot, and then I saw some questions coming in.
Absolutely.
Yes. So from Joanna, from an economic development standpoint, do these businesses manufacture and operate in the communities that they were founded, and what attracted them to establish their companies? Oh, so this is more of a maybe a question to cap off at the end for to kickstart the discussion. But we have one directed to Nicholas. So Joanna, we'll get back to your question at the end of the presentations. So Nicholas, have you had any quality assurance or quality control problems? And that's from David.
There's multiple layers to it. So for using the Val-des-Monts municipality as an example, they do QA and QC at their level as well. And then it goes to our data platform where there's additional water rangers QA, QC that occurs. And then it's shared with data stream in this particular example. So at all levels, there is QA and QC work to ensure the scientific validity of the data that is being uploaded.
Thank you, Nicholas.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions from anybody? All right, let's keep moving. So our next
one more question come in, Sula, if you
there
don't
is
mind.
one more question. Sorry, I didn't see it. I apologize. Go ahead.
Sure.
So, to John, I just want to say that like ours is an early warning tool in terms of the base kit, and it monitors a baseline. Depending on what the municipality or community is looking for, that's where the customizable aspects of what we offer and can work with will do. But you know, we have communities that are monitoring for early warning with blue-green algae, for example. So to sort of provide a public health response, and it depends on the protocols in terms of the monitoring frequency, but that can all be designed in the project.
Thanks, Nicholas. And we have just one more for you. So currently, many municipalities have highly trained environmental officers sampling and monitoring. How does this package guard against contamination and sampling and the procedural rigor needed when monitoring and sampling?
Yeah, for me, I think this is where there's sort of two aspects to it, is that the toolkits that come in our base kit are really designed with ease of use and accuracy. And so there's that aspect of it, and they were cross-tested against other products on the market, as well as having had academic lenses applied to the accuracy of them. And then the other part of it is the training and support that's available for municipalities that want to work with us to ensure that the folks who are taking test kits out in the field know how to sample correctly. And then there's the layers of QA and QC that would identify any anomalies in the data. That I think best answers that question.
If I may add something, Nicholas, because I know the company well too. I think
Please.
one of the things that everybody should know is that the World Wildlife Fund has trusted water rangers with the Watershed Report, which is a global standard of measurement of quality of lakes across North America right now. So they are taking it over simply because the accuracy of the work that they do is second to none. So they have that stamp of approval, I think, from one of the most important bodies in this sector. So
Thank you for highlighting that, Sula.
thank you, Nicholas. Okay, with that, we have one more to show you, and very excited to move on to Exotactic and their incredible use of drones. So Stéphane, over to you, my friend.
Thank you, Sula. As you heard, we are a drone service provider for municipalities. On the next slide, you will see that in bold, we were very active for helping cities, because there's a lot of pressure on cities to take care of our water. So we want to help them providing better data and better reports. On the next slide, you will see that we are using different sensors for strategic solutions like high-level precision mapping in 3D, 2D, thermography, multispectral. So we offer a lot of different tools, a lot of different reports. And this is for above water, but underneath the water, you have on this next slide the bathymetry that we're offering since last year. That's a very popular product that we use to offer since last year. So the dual frequency sensor help us providing not only the mapping, and you can see that scrolling down, not only see the underwater mapping, but also the sediment that we are finding with this sensor. So this is great because, as you can see on the next slide, there's many benefits using drones. First, this is way safer than using a boat, sending people on water, unsafe water. You get more definitions, more precisions with this. You can capture from March to December. You need an ice-free water level to access. You don't have to send people with us. We are alone. So you save money on this, and it's simple for you. We send you the report the same week. We can send the data, all the data in your system. So if you're using, for instance, ArcGIS, we send you all the data so you can use your own computer and your own systems to analyze the information. On the next slide, you will see that also we are experiment people. Just before this one, we have experience. So we have flown over Toronto and Montreal many times, and we work with also drone service provider, local drone service provider. On the next one, sorry for that. So if you want to take care of business with us, if you want us to help you, you can call us directly, but you can also ask for a project with AquaAction. You have the Atlas project, so we can try this service if you want, or the other service. Or if you need any reference, we have worked with several municipalities that are involved with us. So we try to do our best to help your employees to focus on more strategic responsibilities than to do reports. So we want to help you on this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stéphane. So, you know, with Stéphane, we're concluding the last showcase today, but I think one of the things I want to highlight to everybody is how our young innovators, and they're all brilliant, and they've implemented their solutions in many cities. They're using eco-friendly approaches, and they're also using a lot of technology, which is less cumbersome on a physical front for our cities to implement. With that, I think there was a question from Joanne. I'd love to get back to you before we complete with our next slide. Phil, do you want to, let's bring that up.
Sure, yeah. So Joanna was asking earlier, from an economic development standpoint, do the businesses that presented today manufacture and operate in the communities that they were founded, and what attracted them to establish their companies in those communities?
Good question. Who wants to take that? Kevin.
Maybe I can start. Yeah, Smart Trek is right on the south shore of Quebec City. So I'd say we don't necessarily build all the electronic components, but we all the knowledge is input on those devices here at the office, and we also assemble all of our devices here in Lévis. Every component that is not important is actually manufactured in Lévis, close to the shop. So this is something that's dear to us. It's also important when working with municipalities to be, I think, conscious of this best practice, and it really shows. And we also have partners that are able to assemble the products. So, for instance, if we're working in the US and we apply on an open bid, they might require that the product be made in the US, and we have that capability as well to assemble throughout North America. So this is something we're very sensible to, and we take this to heart.
Thank you, Kevin. Anybody else want to jump in and answer that question for Joanne?
Maybe I'll give it a stab, Sula. I'm kind of showing another side of that answer. At Extelia, we're hardware agnostic, so we don't build our own hardware. We use off-the-shelf industry standard hardware. So it's all industry standard protocols. Nothing's proprietary. If a better module comes on the market in a couple of years, we'll just integrate it into our applications. So the city isn't sort of stuck with something that's too proprietary in case, if ever we weren't around, or that can happen with any manufacturer or any supplier. So we sort of take that approach.
Thank you, Eric. Anyone else want to jump in?
Yeah, I can go ahead. For techno protection, it's been created by Techno Metal Post at first, which is a company in Quebec. And we've developed this unique installation method with them. And yeah, we are using manufacturing and developing our products here in Quebec City. And it's been like that since the beginning 20 years ago. So yeah, we are very proud of that. But we also have all of the equipment with Techno Metal Post to develop in the outer borders, so to go to the US, Europe, Ontario, anywhere we are able to do so.
Thank you, Leon. One last one. Anybody else? Good with that? Okay. Are there any other questions from our audience before I move on to the next slide? Okay, so I'll move on to the next slide. So, one of the areas that we're often asked about and our entrepreneurs are asked about, I think, is how do you embrace innovation? And I know that cities are very open to this, but how you embrace innovation, it always starts with, adopt a pilot. So I would say become water tech adopters, become innovation adopters. And we see that there's many, many cities that we work with right now that will pick up the phone, we'll call them and say, hey, we've got this great technology. Do you want to try it? And it's the ones that take that risk and try that are the ones that are pushing forward the latest, revolutionary, I would say, solutions to addressing our climate change. So we can't be stuck in, things of the past sometimes, and I'm going to highlight again, a lot of these solutions are much easier to implement because they're technology and because they're built on existing systems and ecosystems that are easily implemented, adopt a technology. And I think that, taking that risk can have incredible payoff. And with that, I'm going to thank, first of all our presenters today for being here. I want to thank the Great Lakes for giving us this wonderful opportunity to present. And without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing and turn this over to Mayor Maracas to bring us home, Mayor.
Thank you, Sula, and thank you to all of today's speakers for a truly interesting discussion. The city's initiative is happy to be able to work with an organization like AquaAction that is pushing the envelope for water innovation. And thanks also to everyone that's here participating in today's webinar. Please take note of other upcoming cities initiative events on the screen, and we hope to see everyone soon. And don't forget, the annual conference registration Super Saver rate is available until Wednesday. So thank you, everyone. It was a great conversation, and have a great day.